I'm going to show you how I made this two-tiered cake. So this was a little cuties themed cake for a baby shower, and I started by working on my top tier, which was a 6-inch 3-layer cake. I'm working with frozen cake layers, and I put one cake layer down, add some buttercream for the filling, and stack until I have my entire cake stacked and filled. Now I'm applying a thin layer of frosting all over this cake until it is covered so that it can lock in all the crumbs. This doesn't have to be super neat, I just need everything to be covered with the frosting. So once I'm done, I'm gonna take this and put it in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes until everything is nice and cold. So once our crumb-coated cake has chilled, we're gonna bring it back out and I'm gonna add my top layer of buttercream. And this is gonna be a semi-naked cake, so what we're gonna do is apply our buttercream with a piping bag. It makes it a lot easier to apply it with a piping bag because it goes on more evenly. It's easier to smooth out. So once we have it covered in our buttercream, we're gonna add a pretty thick layer to start with, and then we're gonna use our bench scraper to remove some of that frosting to achieve the semi-naked look. I like to run my bench scraper under hot water, wipe it off so it's dry, and then run it across my cake and repeat. And it just takes a little bit of time. You just have to keep working at it until you reach your desired nakedness. So I am just going to keep repeating this process. Like I said, run it under hot water, wipe it off, run it across the cake until I get where I want to be with this cake. After I finish up with the buttercream coat, I'm going to take my offset spatula and I'm going to run it under hot water, wipe it off with my paper towel, and then pull in those top edges. I'm also going to run it across the top in a circular motion to make that swirly pattern. Now our top tier is decorated and chilling, I'm going to move on to the bottom tier. This is a 9-inch 3-layer bottom tier, and as you can see, the cake drum that I'm using is larger than the cake layer. You want that because it's easier to move and it looks better. So this is a 9-inch cake and I'm using a 12-inch drum. I put my cake layers down and we're going to do the same process. We're going to stack, fill, and crumb coat this. Still working with chilled or frozen cake layers so that everything is sturdy and there's not a million trillion crumbs falling everywhere. We're going to completely coat this with buttercream. So once we get this fully crumb coated, we're going to pop it in the fridge for about 30 minutes. And then we're going to bring it back out and we're going to do our top layer of buttercream. Again, we're repeating the process that we did with the top tier. We're applying our buttercream all over the cake, but this time we're doing a thicker layer because we're going to make sure everything is completely covered before we start pulling that frosting away to create the semi-naked look. I'm going to run my bench scraper under my hot water, wipe it off, and pull it onto the cake. When you're doing a tiered cake, as you can see, you decorate everything separately and then you bring it all together at the end when you stack it. Once I get the buttercream looking the way that I want and I'm happy with it, I'm going to grab that offset spatula and pull in those top edges. And then we're going to take it to the fridge and let it chill for at least 30 minutes. Okay, so our cakes are all chilled and ready to stack. I'm grabbing these plastic cake supports that I got online. You can also use bubble tea straws, but I like these because they're a little sturdier. You're going to place your straw down into your cake, roll it around so that the frosting makes a little mark, and that will tell you where to cut the straw. So you want these straws to ultimately be flush with the top of the cake. Maybe a little bit of buttercream over the top is fine. So you're going to place your straws, mark it where you need to cut it with the buttercream, lift it up, cut it, put it back down, and then cover with buttercream. Now you can add your top tier. You want to make sure that the top tier doesn't have a board that is bigger than the actual top tier. So I had to swap mine over to a size board that's the same as the cake. That way you don't see it. So this cake was super chilled, so it was easy to pick up. You have to be confident about this. Just lift it up and place it onto the cake. And then you can adjust and everything. This one got a little messed up by the warmth of my hands. So I piped some buttercream along that seam to cover it. I also piped a little bit of buttercream on the cake, and I'm going to do the same process that I used earlier where I smooth everything out. I run the bench scraper under hot water, pull it onto the cake until the buttercream smooths out and everything looks seamless. And You really just have to be confident about this. You have to work on it until everything looks even. Don't freak out if your cake doesn't go on there perfectly when you stack it the first time. You can maneuver it around a little bit. I sped this video up, but it definitely took me a couple of minutes to get where I needed to be. Now the fun part. It's all stacked and ready to go for decorations, and this is a little cuties themed cake, so I'm adding some orange ranunculus and tangerine bushels with greenery. I'm just going to add these kind of based on the inspiration photo that the client sent me. I like to add stuff on the back too, because you never know when you're gonna have a cake in the middle of the room and you want the whole cake to look cute. I added the wooden cake topper, and there is the final product.